Hello, and welcome to coverage of competition for the custom standard format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the winners round 2 match between Tetra, otherwise known as Macalania, who is playing Temur Butler combo, versus Philippe Saner, who is on Red White Arm, art, which is affectionately known as Second Amendment. So right now, uh, Tetra's deck is basically a combo mid-range deck which aims to use Butler Droid plus a few other cards to combo off to get infinite life, infinite mana, and generally have a way to kill your opponent from there. Um, Mercy is a new addition to the deck by Tetra. Um, Generally, people were thinking about using her to pod other creatures, but because of the sacrifice of mutant ability, and since mutants weren't very viable, no one really looked at Mercy. But I think Tetra was one of the first people to consider that Mercy can pod herself. And since all of the pieces for Butler combo do cost 4 mana, that ends up being pretty relevant. On the other side of the table, Philippe Saner casting a Hunter Seeker. So Red White Arm is basically an aggro deck which has some reach, in the sense of uh, it generates a bunch of these arm tokens. Also, wow, I just realized Philippe has all 4 copies of Hunter Seeker in his hand. That's kind of crazy. But arm is an ability that at a given time you create an equipment token which gives +1/+1 and has equip 2. Um, you basically use the fact that you get a bunch of incidental uh, equipment to activate artifact synergies, sacrifice them as costs for stuff that requires artifacts, etc. So Philippe is going to swing in for 2 with Hunter Seeker. Because it has Menace, Tetra can't block with the Mercy that he played last turn, um, and gets a weapon token because every time Hunter Seeker deals combat damage to a player, you get another weapon token. It grows exponentially. Um, and plays another Hunter Seeker plus Founding Hero. Um, Generally, Butler's plan versus aggro decks is to play Butler Droid itself, which gains you life, or play Tempered Onkelim, both of which are good ways of stabilizing before you combo off. Or you can use your 2 drops to block effectively. Mercy is also a good blocker. Unfortunately, the menace on Philippe's creatures is going to make that difficult. And game 1, Butler Droid doesn't have any wipes. So if Philippe untaps, goes Hunter Seeker, Hunter Seeker, I think Tetra is in a really bad position. Tetra can play Butler Droid, untap 2 lands, Final Flame Butler Droid, generate 6 mana, but then uh, Mercy for Elvish Spirit Caller. Use Elvish Spirit Caller's ETB to get back Final Flame. Um, Final Flame the Butler Droid again, generating a bunch more mana. Or Final Flame the Elvish Spirit Caller, get back Final Flame plus Spirit Caller. Or could you Entraki Emissary at some point to try and get lands? So is going to cast Butler Droid. And is gonna untap 2 lands and then probably Final Flame Butler Droid. Oh no, Entraki Emissary. Interesting. I guess Tetra's thought is potting Mercy right now would be bad because it's a good blocker anyways. Entraki Emissary is good blocking fodder. And Final Flame you can save it just in case you get something better. Because if you hit like Contra of Old Magique, then you just combo off infinitely as well. Mercy is also good for, like, if let's say you draw one of the combo pieces, you just get the other one with Mercy, so it's good to wait on cracking her. Especially because Philippe's deck doesn't really have that much interaction main. So, yep, is going to run out double Hunter Seeker, has the full playset on board right now. And isn't going to attack. Interesting. I guess the thought is doesn't want to lose one of the Hunter Seekers and give an extra land to Macalania. Ooh, this is a problem though. Because Elvish Spirit Caller plus Mercy does um, win the game, but you need 6 mana. So Tetra could Final Flame Butler Droid, um, get 6 mana, play Elvish Spirit Caller, get Butler back, play Butler, um, untap 2 lands, and then pod Mercy uh, for Witch of Shifting Waters. Oh, but Mercy can't. Hmm, interesting. But since Mercy puts Witch of Shifting Waters onto the battlefield, no, wait, you'd still be able to do it because, um, so you generate, so you Final Flame Butler Droid, you generate 6 mana off of that, and then still has 3 other mana, so has a total of 9 mana at that point. Um, then plays Elvish Spirit Caller to get back Butler Droid from grave, 5 mana remaining. Um, you play Butler Droid, untap 2 lands, 3 mana remaining. You pod Mercy for Witch of Shifting Waters, 1 mana remaining. In the Witch of Shifting Waters, you have it enter as a copy of Elvish Spirit Caller, bounce itself, 1 mana remaining. You Inspirit onto Butler Droid and go infinite from there. So Tetra does have a lethal line here, but Tetra has to see it. Oh, and it's lethal because you get infinite life and infinite mana, which is enough to beat an aggro deck. But also, once you generate infinite mana, you can infinitely loop Final Flame and Spirit Caller and get an infinite number of hasty 2/2s. So it's a guaranteed kill as well. Okay, is going to play the Final Flame on the Butler. Yup, has generated 6 mana from the Final Flame on the Butler droid. Yup, plays Elvish Spirit Caller. I think Tetra has a line. I think Tetra's seen it. Yeah, getting back Butler droid. Yup, play the Butler droid. Yeah, right as Philippe sees Tetra tap out for Butler droid, he concedes. He played out the line in his mind. He was dead there. So wow, that was an incredibly powerful aggressive start from Philippe, but the lucky top deck of the Elvish Spirit Caller plus some great thinking through of that winning line from Tetra ends up winning Tetra game 1. So let's see what these players will be sideboarding potentially. So from Tetra's sideboard, I think we're going to see the aggressive deminings. Ancient Extinction is good because so aggressive demining is a Wrath plus it kills all artifact tokens, which is just destructive for ARM decks. It's basically a 1 card, you're done. Ancient Extinction may come in, but it might be a little bit clunky. You can destroy all artifacts, so you can kill all of their ARM tokens, but I think it's a little clunky. Hired Hit, I think, is coming in for sure as cheap early interaction. And then maybe a Spore Flow Protector as a good early blocker, but I think you want to like maximize the ETB/mana production rather than maximizing your blocking. Especially like we saw, Hunter Seeker makes blocking kind of moot, and even though Spore Flow Protector can generate Saproling tokens which can fight against the Menace, I think it's kind of just better to have your impactful mana producing 2-drops in instead. But it depends on what Tetra thinks. Meanwhile, on Philippe's end, neither Pithing Needle or Scrap Market really do much in this matchup. Pithing Needle does shut off Talia, but I think as an aggro deck, you really don't care about Talia that much. Shock and Wander the Unknown, and probably Imperial Claim as well, because instant speed interaction that can shut off Butler is super important. Flamestorm may come in, but I think I think that's mostly for aggro decks that are potentially faster than ARM, like Mono Red, or like something like Tempo, where like killing all their threats is just game over. So I think it's just going to be Shock, Wander the Unknown, and maybe Imperial Claim from Philippe. And wow, oops, I did miss a bit of game 2. it looks like Philippe has started off playing a Rotting Hellhound turn 1 and curving it into a Hunter Seeker turn 2. And did side in the Wander the Unknown, because we see it in his hand. Meanwhile, we know Tetra sided in the aggressive demining because they have that in their hand, but they don't have fixing for red. If Philippe attacks with the Rotting Hellhound, they'll probably chump with the Dothraki Emissary to grab a mountain from their deck. So yep, Philippe is attacking with both Hunter Seeker and Rotting Hellhound. Tetra chumps with the Dothraki Emissary. And a curve of Tempered Onclim into Butler Droid is just pretty good because you end up gaining like 6 life that way, and then you also have a wipe to be able to stop Philippe's plans. I think the question is now, if you're Tetra, what do you play next turn? Do you play Butler, untap 2, play Croakfolk Troubadour? Do you play Tempered Onclim? Or do you play aggressive demining? I think if I'm Tetra, I either play Tempered Onclim, gain 3 life, and then next turn I can curve that into aggressive demining, or I play Butler Droid plus Croakfolk if I really want to hit the combo. I think the best play is probably play Tempered Onclim, and then you can aggressive demining next turn and kill everything they have, because even if they grow the Hunter Seeker, aggressive demining destroys the arm tokens before dealing damage, so the Hunter Seekers will die anyways. Ooh, but now with the second Hunter Seeker, do you just 3-for-1 Philippe? Maybe. I guess if you're... now that there's more than 2 creatures on the board and Philippe's hand is starting to look a little bit empty, I think I could see running out the aggressive demining first instead of Tempered Onclim. Okay, no, but Tetra is going to run out the Tempered Onclim first, gain 3 life. I guess just bait Philippe into going even wider, which I think what Philippe is going to do is play Conscription and then hold up Wander the Unknown. And then also gets to swing for 5 here. Yep, so going to run out the Conscription. And then swing with the Hunter Seekers. Yep, and Tetra can't block these, so it's just going to have to eat 4 damage. Or sorry, 5 damage. Next turn, though, can go Butler into aggressive demining, or aggressive demining into Croakfolk Troubadour. Actually, yeah, you don't want to kill your own Butler, so you'd probably go aggressive demining, then play Croakfolk Troubadour. Oh, Tetra is going to play Butler Droid, gain 3 life. I don't agree with this play at all. And I think if you're Philippe, on end step, you just wander the... well, I guess doesn't want to wander either, but yeah, I think when you're staring down this board, like, there's no reason not to just immediately hit that aggressive demining button. I guess maybe Tetra's thought was, well, I'll wait until he gets the second soldier off of Conscription, but even then you have a blocker in the form of Tempered Onclim, or if you go aggressive demining into Croakfolk, you can trade with Croakfolk even if they kill your Tempered Onclim. So I think that was just a big misplay from Tetra. And now you can't run out the aggressive demining without killing your own Butler, which you gain 3 life from, but you want to keep your Butler around for combo potential. So yeah, I really don't agree with this line from Tetra. An interesting thing is, if Philippe plays Havel this turn, even if Tetra wipes the board next turn, Tetra won't have a way to kill Havel, because Conscription will give Havel +1/+1 at the start of combat, so Tetra can't trade Temper Onclim for Havel. But yeah, I think Tetra is now going to be eating like a minimum of 7 damage here for no reason. Is going to Despair the Rotting Hellhound? Yeah, so now Tetra is going to take a total of 9 damage, plus Tetra either has to trade the Butler Droid with one of the creatures, or has to take a further 2 damage. And all of this could have been avoided if Tetra had just run out the aggressive demining last turn. Actually, wait, since Rotting Hellhound doesn't buff itself, Tetra can block Rotting Hellhound, kill it with Butler Droid. block the soldier token with Tempered Onclim, and kill that, and then just take 9 damage from the Hunter Seekers. Or if Tetra is worried about Tetra might be worried that Philippe has a shock, and is baiting Tetra into like blocking. But no, okay, and it's gonna double block the soldier. Interesting. I don't know why you wouldn't block Rotting Hellhound with Butler Droid. Oh, I guess Tetra thought both of the soldiers were attacking, but one of them was created this turn by conscription. So yeah, blocks the soldier with Tempered Onclim, and Butler Droid blocks the Rotting Hellhound, and takes 9 damage. Again, this is relevant. The 9 damage is relevant because it means that even if Tetra wipes this turn, they're on a 2-turn clock from Havel plus conscription. 3-turn if they buff themselves, or if they gain life with the Butler Droid Death Trigger. But yeah, I know I'm saying this again and again, but I really think that playing Butler Droid instead of aggressive demining last turn was a huge mistake. So now Philippe's question is, do I hold up Wander the Unknown, or do I play Havel? And I guess Philippe's thought is, I have enough board control. Literally the only way I can lose right here is if they pull out the combo, so let me keep up my interaction. Meanwhile, Tetra has Entraki Emissary, so it has 2 drops that they can play after aggressive demining. In fact, can play both of them if Tetra goes aggressive demining, Butler Droid dies, untap 2 lands, and then can play both Croakfolk and Entraki. But I think it's better to gain life off the Butler Death Trigger. Is Tetra not realizing that aggressive demining destroys the arm tokens? Is that it? Is that why Tetra is not playing the aggressive demining? Okay, no, now is running out the aggressive demining. So this kills both the Hunter Seekers, the Soldier, but it also kills Tetra's own Butler Droid. So yeah, so Tetra's gonna use a life gain trigger from Butler Droid. Not gonna go risky. Okay, and swinging in with the Tempered Onclim. Start a clock. And then main 2, which one? Croakfolk or Entraki? I think Croakfolk makes more sense. Yeah, Croakfolk, Troubadour, comes down. Hits a land off the draw, which kind of sucks because Tetra's already super flooded. Ooh, and Hanaru's Spear coming out from Philippe. So, could play Havel. I think just Philippe has to kind of play Havel right here. Yeah, just to stay in the game. And then next turn can play Hanaru's Spear while also keeping up Wander the Unknown. Oh, ouch. Tetra has Italia, though. So can start flickering the Tempered Onclim to make Philippe lose life. Or can like flicker the Croakfolk Troubadour to start drawing cards. Hanaru's Spear plus Havel is terrifying, though. Because it's basically a free +3/+3. Or like, it's basically, it says 1 white +5/+5. Because +3/+3 from the equipment itself, and then +1/+1 from Havel's own ability. So Havel will become an 8/8, and then a 9/9 from Conscription's buff. So if you're Tetra, do you go for the risky play of attacking with Tempered Onclim? I don't think so. Oh, interesting, and it's going to use Tempered Onclim to gain life. Not a bad idea, especially just like, because gaining life is effectively the same as just winning versus versus aggro. And it's going to play the Entraki Emissary. So it's in a good position, but this Havel coming down is going to be... This Havel plus Hanaru's Spear is going to be kind of terrifying. Of course, Macalania can chump block with the Entraki Emissary and get a land, but they do have like only 3 creatures on board, so they can run out, and it does prevent Tetra from ever attacking into Philippe. So yep, plays the Hanaru's Spear. Now Havel's up to an 8/8. Conscription makes it a 9/9. Tetra is going to chump with the Entraki Emissary though, which is a good chump for them. And they still have Croakfolk Troubadour to do another chump next turn. Notably, though, Philippe also does have a Wander the Unknown. So, in response to uh, Tetra attempting to flicker Tempered Onclum, can just Wander the Unknown it. Especially since Tetra is down to one card in hand, it isn't that much of a risk. Oh, ouch, but Tetra hits a second Tempered Onclum. Oh, so interesting. Is going to -2 Croakfolk Troubadour, or -2 Talia, bounce Croakfolk Troubadour, and then draw 2 cards off it. Hits a land in Talia, which isn't super great. Replays the Croakfolk Troubadour, gets a Butler Droid. Now that is much better. So if Tetra is feeling greedy, Tetra could like Butler Droid, untap 2 lands, play the second Talia from hand using the Legend Rule to sack the previous one, then -2 again, and then bounce a Croakfolk to draw another 3 cards and just refill their entire hand. And also potentially hit combo pieces. Now is going to play Tempered Onclum, drain Philippe for 3, and then play a land, play Butler Droid, and then just gain 3 life, I'm assuming. Yeah. And now Tetra has a bunch of chump blockers for Havel, and a way to win the game by just constantly flickering Tempered Onclums. Ooh, Quellag's Fury Sword. So, can start pinging Talia with this. Oh, and it's going to ping the Croakfolk Troubadour. Interesting. So, if you're Tetra, do you just let Talia die, or do you block with Butler Droid? It's an interesting question. I think I'd personally block with the Butler Droid, since you can speed up your chances of winning by next turn. Blocks with a Tempered Onclum. Ooh. Oh, and draws another land. Tetra's getting so flooded here, it's not even funny. But yeah, I think, though Tetra couldn't have known this, Philippe does have the Wander the Unknown, so chumping with a Tempered Onclum was actually a bad idea, because yeah, now in response to this, oh no, it's going to use the -2 on Talia to bounce Tempered Onclum and draw 2 cards. But yeah, if Tetra tries to like play Tempered Onclum and then flicker it with Talia, in response to the flicker, Philippe can just Wander the Unknown it. And Tetra hits 2 more lands off of the Talia. It is kind of insane how hard Tetra is getting flooded. They have more than half of their lands in their hand plus field right now. So plays the second Talia. Yep, plays Tempered Onclum. Gonna poke Philippe for 3. See, the question is, will Philippe Wander the Unknown Tempered Onclum? Or will he be too scared of the 4-card grip that Tetra has? Because that's a valid fear. Like, you want interaction for the combo, because you can't beat the combo. You can maybe beat Tempered Onclum Flicker. But yeah, no, in response, it's going to Wander the Unknown the Tempered Onclum. And that just adds to Tetra's monumental land count. And of note here is that if Tetra wants to protect Talia, Tetra has to let Butler Droid die. So Tetra went from being in like a really good position to now kind of lagging behind. So Philippe is going to attack Talia with Havel and then ping her using Quellag's Fire Sword. Tetra is going to chump with Butler Droid and gain 3 life off of the trigger. And it's going to crack the fetch. This means next turn, Tetra can -2 Talia. Ooh, wait, Elvish Spirit Caller. I was talking about -2ing Talia. But, so, now let's see. So it has Elvish Spirit Caller in hand. So now, Tetra can play Elvish Spirit Caller, -2 Talia, to draw 2 cards, bounce Elvish Spirit Caller. We'll still have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Then you play Butler, untap 2 lands, presumably still have 5 mana. Um, and then if you draw into any witch from that -2, you go off at that point. Or you just replay Elvish Spirit Caller and then bounce Havel, which is a fine plan, because then you can just infinitely +1 Talia on Elvish Spirit Caller and keep bouncing Havel. So yeah, at the very least, Tetra stabilizes by having Elvish Spirit Caller plus Talia to infinitely bounce Havel, so Philippe would need a hasty threat to win. Or would need like multiple threats to be able to cast each turn. Or Tetra could Elvish Spirit Caller, bounce a Talia, and hopefully draw into the combo. Like both, and you can do both in the same turn, so there's no like risk. So I think yeah, you start by Elvish Spirit Caller, buy back Butler. Oh, I was buying back Tempered Onclim. I do think that's a mistake. But can play Tempered Onclim, +1 it. Oh no, I was gonna +1 Talia on Elvish Spirit Caller, bounce Havel. Bounce the Aegis. Wait, why not just... Oh no, because Quelag's Fire Sword gives Havel haste. Ah. So you can't infinitely bounce Havel. So, and since Hanaru's Aegis is a token, it will go. Okay, so that does make a lot more sense. Okay, and they can play Tempered Onclim, ping Philippe for 3. The thing is, I think... Yeah, I don't know if I agree with most of these plays, but we'll have to see. Oh, and Passionate Congregation is actually pretty huge. Oh, no. But bouncing the Hanaru's Aegis means that Philippe can't pay the tithe. Oh, that's kind of... Oh, that's really sad for Philippe. Because with the tithe, Philippe could guaranteed kill Talia, because you have 5 attackers, which, assuming that Tetra blocks like Havel plus a cleric, you still 3 damage still gets in, and then 1 damage from Quelag's Fire Sword. But it's gonna play is gonna use Havel to tithe the Passionate Congregation. Interesting. And then pay 3 to play another Havel. Oh, and then Legend Rule the previous Havel away, and then you can re-equip the equipment to the new Havel. And then because Quelag's Fire Sword gives haste. Oh, that's so smart. The thing is, though, Tetra can double block and kill Havel, but then in that case, they lose Talia as well, assuming they attack everything. Yeah, I don't know how, if you're a Tetra, you get out of this one. Okay, so swinging for... so this cleric has 4 power. This one has... The Havel has 7. So Tetra either loses both of their creatures and Talia lives, or Tetra loses Talia. And then is going to ping 1 to face with the Fury Sword. I think if you're Tetra, you have to just let Talia die. Because you either lose both creatures, and then I guess you could have Talia to be able to like -2 a land if you don't draw anything else, and then try to draw into cards. But I think giving up your blockers, if you don't draw into anything, I think do just lose next turn. So Havel is 8 because you count Quelag's Fire Sword, +4, 12. So it's 15. So Tetra does have 2 turns to live, but I don't know if doing that gamble is worth it. So yeah, Tetra is just going to let Talia die. And hey, that's not a land. Not sure what you can do with it right now, though. Could just play Butler Droid, gain 3 life to stabilize. And then next turn, you just don't block with anything, and then hope to draw into something cool. Oh my god, and Philippe hitting a land as well. It's kind of a bad position for both. Literally, both players have the only cards in their hand are 1 land each. Okay, so Philippe is swinging in with Havel and the Hanaru Speared Cleric, and this time is pumping up Havel instead. I think this is because Tetra could previously double block with Elver Spirit Caller, or could double block with Butler Droid or Elder Spirit Caller and Tempered Onklin and kill Havel, but with the conscription buff, would need to block with all 3 of their creatures to kill Havel. And oof, just taking the damage. Going down to 10 life. But that is what I predicted, because keeping around the creatures is better for... Are you kidding me? Another land. This must be the most flooded game in Magic. How many lands does Tetra have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 lands out of 24. To be fair, that is about half the cards they've drawn. But wow. They have drawn like half their deck. Oh my god, and Philippe also drawing a land. Philippe is in a better position though, because Philippe can now just attack in and force Tetra to like chump with all of their creatures. So swinging in with Havel, Conscriptioned up, Quelag Fury Sword Cleric, and Hanaru Spear Cleric. So this is enough for lethal. What Tetra can do though is, I think this is basically Tetra's only out, is block Havel with the Tempered Onklin, and then keep Elver Spirit Caller and Butler around in the hopes that you top deck a Witch next turn. Oh, but it's going to block the Hanaru Spear Cleric with Butler Droid. I think Hanaru Spear gives first strike. Yeah, that's a bad idea. And takes takes 8 damage but gains 3 back. I think that was a mistake, because even though you gain 3 life off of the Butler, you don't have a way to, like, keeping Butler. Yeah, because see, look. Oh no. Because Tetra did top deck the Witch, and if she'd kept Butler around, Tetra could have won. Now, okay, so what is Tetra's line here? So let's say Witch onto Spirit Caller, copy Onkelim, drain Philippe for 3. Attack? No, you can't do that. Witch on Onkelim and Spirit copying Elver's Spirit Caller? Oh, wait, can do that. Okay, wait. So you just cast for 3 mana each time. You Enspirit Witch of Shifting Waters onto Tempered Onkelim, copy Elver's Spirit Caller, Witch gets bounced, Tempered Onkelim returns, and then you drain Philippe for 3. And Tetra has more than enough mana to just keep doing that. So then you just do that 3 times for 9 mana, and then... not for 9 mana. Wait, it only takes 1 mana each time. Yeah, so Tetra more than has lethal on Philippe. Okay, so he's going to play Witch of Shifting Waters, but did Tetra see the right line? No, he's going to be inspiriting it onto Elvish Spirit Caller. Tetra missed it. Oh no, Tetra might have just thrown the game. Like, honest to God, thrown the game. Or wait, copy nothing. Elder Spirit Caller comes back. Okay. Grab Talia. Play Talia, -2 her. Bounce Elder Spirit Caller. So yeah, -2 Talia on the Elder Spirit Caller. Draw 2 cards. Replay Elder Spirit Caller. Get back Which, and then hopefully go off now and realize, does Tetra still have Tetra? Tetra still has enough mana. Yeah, so can do it. Okay, yeah, gets back Witch. Okay, so is now gonna do it? Okay, so Tetra did see the line. So does realize that Witch of Shifting Waters, put it on Tempered Onclim, copy Elver Spirit Caller, bounce itself, Tempered Onclim re-enters, you drain for 3, and you repeat that for as many blue mana pips as you have. So I guess Tetra's worry was that um, uh, if Philippe had Shock and killed Elver Spirit Caller, then it was just game over for Tetra. Um, so the whole Elver Spirit Caller get back Talia was just to see more cards just in case. Okay. So, whew, that was a grueling game 2, but after a long set, Tetra takes a 2-0 over Philippe Sonner and secures a spot in winners quarterfinals. Until next time, this is Caillou signing off.